All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into the life of Thomas Edison. Most people know him for the light bulb, but, trust me, his story goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
We've got some excerpts from a detailed biography, and okay, I can't wait to unpack this with you. Get ready for some surprises.
Yeah. You know what's fascinating about Edison is that his life, it's really a testament to that DIY spirit. And we're going to see how his relentless curiosity and perseverance led to some groundbreaking inventions.
Okay, so let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. Edison was born in Ohio, and then his family moved to Michigan. He was the youngest of 7 children. I can only imagine what mealtimes were like in that household.
Yeah, it must have been quite a lively scene. And what's interesting is that Edison's formal schooling was very limited. He only attended school for a few months, but he became this voracious reader, soaking up knowledge from books on all sorts of topics.
So basically teaching himself from a young age. That's incredible. Did this unconventional education shape his path to becoming an inventor?
Absolutely. It fostered this incredible independence and problem-solving mindset. Unlike, those who followed a traditional academic path, Edison was free to explore, experiment, and learn through trial and error. This hands-on approach would become a hallmark of his inventive process.
Yeah, I can already see how those early years were laying the foundation for his future. Now, here's something I find really intriguing. Edison developed significant hearing problems when he was only 12. He later claimed that this actually helped him focus. But I wonder how such a challenge at such a young age might have impacted him.
That's a great question. Imagine the world of sound slowly fading away. It's likely that this pushed him even further into the world of reading and experimentation. Perhaps it heightened his other senses, his observation skills, his ability to concentrate deeply on the task at hand.
Yeah, that really puts things into perspective. Now let's fast forward a bit. How did Edison's career actually begin? This is where things start to get really interesting.
Well, his journey into the world of invention began in a seemingly unrelated field, telegraphy. He started out as a telegraph operator, a skill he learned after a rather fortunate incident.
Wait, I think I remember reading about this. Didn't he save a child from being hit by a train?
Exactly. As a teenager, Edison's quick thinking saved a young boy from a near tragedy. The grateful father, who happened to be a station agent, taught Edison the ins and outs of telegraphy as a reward.
Talk about a lucky break. But it's more than just luck, right? He was in the right place at the right time, and he had the courage to act. It seems like fate had a plan for him.
You could say that. And this experience with telegraphy proved to be pivotal. It ignited Edison's passion for electricity, the very force that would drive so many of his future inventions.
So this seemingly random event set him on the path to becoming the Thomas Edison we know today.
It's amazing how life works sometimes. Okay, so he's mastering telegraphy, a cutting-edge technology at the time, I'd imagine. What happens next? Well, Edison wasn't content with just operating the telegraph. He wanted to understand it, push its boundaries. This led him to his first major invention, the automatic telegraph.
Hold on, the automatic telegraph. What was so revolutionary about that?
Remember back then, telegraphs relied on human operators to transmit messages in Morse code? It was a slow and laborious process. But Edison's automatic telegraph used a special chemical paper tape that could be pre-punched with messages, and then transmitted at much higher speeds. This dramatically increased the volume and efficiency of communication.
Wow, that's a game changer. So he was already thinking about ways to automate and improve existing technologies. Did this early success fuel his desire to invent even more?
Absolutely. The success of the automatic telegraph gave Edison the financial freedom and the confidence to pursue his inventive dreams further. This led him to establish his famous laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey, a place that would become a hotbed of innovation and change the world forever.
Menlo Park. That's where the magic really happened.
That's where we'll pick up next time. Yeah, Menlo Park, it was more than just a lab. It was the world's first industrial research lab, a place where Edison gathered a team of brilliant minds to systematically churn out invention after invention.
It's like he created the blueprint for how we do research and development today.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like inside this invention factory?
It was organized chaos. Edison was obsessed with having every imaginable material on hand, from chemicals and wires to feathers and even hair from various animals. He believed that to invent something new, you had to be prepared to experiment with everything.
I could picture rooms overflowing with strange and wonderful things. What a sight that must have been. So with all this at his fingertips, what groundbreaking inventions emerged from Menlo Park?
Well, we can't talk about Menlo Park without mentioning the light bulb, but it's important to remember that Edison didn't invent it from scratch.
Right. He improved upon existing designs.
Exactly. What Edison did was make the light bulb practical and commercially viable. Through relentless experimentation, he found a filament that could burn for hours, and he developed a system for mass production.
So he wasn't just an inventor. He was a businessman who understood how to bring his creations to the masses. That's a key ingredient for impactful innovation.
Absolutely. And speaking of impactful, let's talk about the phonograph. This was a truly revolutionary invention, the first device capable of recording and replaying sound.
Oh, I bet people were blown away when they first heard a recorded voice.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
I know, imagine hearing your own voice played back to you for the first time. It must have been both magical and a little eerie. The phonograph allowed people to capture sound-preserved memories and share music in a way that was never possible before. It changed how we experience the world.
It's like a portal to the past. What other marvels came out of Menlo Park?
Well, have you ever wondered how telephones became so clear? That's thanks to Edison's invention of the carbon microphone.
Oh, so he's responsible for clear phone calls, too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was a simple but brilliant improvement. By using carbon granules that compressed and decompressed with sound waves, Edison's microphone amplified the electrical signal, resulting in much clearer audio transmission.
So he's lighting up our homes, capturing our voices, and making it possible to have actual conversations over the phone. It's incredible to think how much his inventions shaped modern life.
And his curiosity didn't stop there. Edison even dabbled in X-rays, though he abandoned that line of research after realizing the health risks involved.
That's a reminder that even brilliant minds can make miscalculations. So we've got the light bulb, the phonograph, the microphone, all from this incredible period of innovation.
And it's important to remember that these were just a few of the many inventions that emerged from Menlo Park. This was a time of incredible productivity for Edison and his team.
It's like a golden age of invention.
Yeah.
But eventually this period had to come to an end. What happened after Menlo Park?
Well, after the death of his first wife, Mary, in 1884, Edison moved to West Orange, New Jersey. But his passion for inventing didn't fade. In fact, he continued to explore diverse fields, from motion pictures to mining, even developing a rechargeable battery for early electric cars.
Electric cars in the late 1800s. That's astonishing. It's like he was decades ahead of his time.
He had this incredible vision for the future. But perhaps the most dramatic chapter in Edison's life was his involvement in what's been called the War of Currents. It was a battle that pitted his direct current system against Westinghouse's alternating current.
This sounds intense.
Yeah.
Edison was known for his strong opinions. How did he react to this challenge to his technology?
He was a fierce competitor. He truly believed that his DC system was the best way to electrify the world. And he wasn't afraid to fight for it.
Okay, so we've got Edison, this passionate advocate for his DC system, going up against Westinghouse and his AC system. What were the main differences between these two approaches to electricity? I have to admit, I'm a little fuzzy on the technical
I
details.
think of it this way. Direct current, or DC, flows in one direction, like a river. It's great for short distances, and that's why Edison's early power stations were built close to their customers.
Okay, that makes sense. So where does AC fit into all of this?
Alternating current, or AC, changes direction periodically, like a wave. It's more efficient for transmitting electricity over long distances, and that was a major advantage for Westinghouse, who could build larger power plants and reach more customers.
So this war of currents was really about more than just technical differences. It was a battle for control of the future of electricity.
Precisely. Control over the technology meant control over a vast and growing market. The stakes were incredibly high.
And Edison, as we've seen, wasn't one to back down from a challenge. How did this rivalry play out?
Well, Edison used a combination of strategies. He highlighted the potential dangers of high-voltage AC, which, to be fair, was a legitimate concern at the time. Safety standards were still being developed. But he also resorted to some tactics that we might consider unethical today.
What do you mean?
For instance, he publicly electrocuted animals using AC to demonstrate its supposed lethality. It was a way to instill fear and sway public opinion against his competitors' technology.
Wow, that's pretty shocking. It seems like this competition brought out a darker side of Edison's ambition.
It certainly raises questions about the lengths to which he was willing to go to defend his vision. But ultimately, despite his best efforts, AC prevailed. It simply had too many advantages for long-distance transmission, and eventually even Edison's own company had to adopt it.
Yeah, it must have been tough for him to admit defeat. But even in losing this war of currents, Edison's impact on the world was undeniable.
Absolutely. His inventions transformed daily life, bringing light to our homes, sound to our ears, and revolutionizing communication. And beyond the specific inventions, what's truly remarkable is his relentless drive, his unwavering belief in the power of innovation to improve the human condition.
He was a true pioneer, a symbol of American ingenuity, and this deep dive into his life has been fascinating.
It's been a pleasure exploring his story with you. And as you continue to learn about innovators and inventions, I encourage you to remember that behind every breakthrough, there's a complex human story full of triumphs, setbacks, and a relentless pursuit of progress.
Well said. And that wraps up our deep dive into the life and work of Thomas Edison. Thanks for joining us.